Normally when I do these master classes, free or paid, they tend to be more leaning into the energetics of business, of your spiritual awakening process, all of it. They tend to lean more towards that. And today, or I should say last week, when I got the download around this one, I was like, well, what do people need to know? What did I need to know when I was like, I'm gonna run a business and I don't know fucking how. I've got no clue what the hell I'm doing.
Right.
It's I want to know how to make money. That's what it is. I want to know how to make money. And so what is already happening inside of these mentorship places and these online places where there are coaches and mentors and money manifestation and money coaching and all of that. What do we always see? Five figures, 10K months, 20K months, five-figure months. If we're starting off at zero, how are we going to get to 10K?
Hmm.
It's just not going to happen. And so today, what we're going to learn, friends, we're going to learn how to create sustainability within the business, no matter where you are at in business. Whether you are at $0, but you have an LLC, whether you are making a couple thousand and you're looking to scale and make more, whether you've seen 5K months, but then they've gone back, or whether you don't even have a fucking LLC. You're like, I have a vision. I have this brilliant idea that won't go away, and I don't know where to place it. So that's where we're going to go today. So I am, yeah, 36 after. So let's get into it. So if you haven't already, like grab a pen, grab a piece of paper. This is gonna be super interactive. If you haven't already, put yourself on mute. And I am going to share my screen. Feel free to chit chat inside of the group, ask questions inside of the group. If you just hopped on, Emily is here to help with any questions that need to be answered. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay. I'm just gonna shut my office door. I got my husband on Lost. If you guys binge my content, you know I love Lost. I got him on it right now. One second. All right. Can you all see my screen okay? Yeah. Okay. Okay, your roadmap to 5K months. So this is literally, friends, this is a step-by-step guide to learn how to create financial stability in your spiritual business wherever you are. Okay. But when you are done with this, you're going to learn how the fuck to do it. You're also going to be given an invitation on how you can work with me to continue this work. In the Starseed Shadows community, which is my business, my brand, Black Friday starts early. As far as I'm concerned, it starts today on the 11/11 portal, honey. And if you're watching the replay, you will also be given this invitation. So I will also tell you too right now, we're doing a giveaway, darling, between now and when doors close at 11:59 p.m. EST on Wednesday, 11/13. Share with the world what you learned. Tag me. You can do a photo. You can do a quick video, a quick clip, add it to your stories, tag me at Ashley Michelle 90 day and a tidbit that you learned from here today. And the winner will be announced on 11/14, and you will get a free 45-minute business strategy session with me. So keep that in mind as we dig into this work. So first thing I want to know before we go anywhere is what's your dream? Tell me a little bit about why you decided to step in here. What business do you have? What business idea do you have? Tell me everything. Pop it in the chat. I would love to know what is happening with you. I don't care if it's a thought. I don't care if you're already in business. I don't care if it's in and out. Sometimes you get people, sometimes you don't. I don't care if you've been in it for 10 years. Pop in the chat. I want to know. for you. Hi, Susanna. Can you stop the share really quick? Because I want to see what you guys are saying. My Taekwondo teacher would always say before testing that it was because we cared. I love that. Ah, yeah, you're nervous. It's true. Yeah, nervous because you cared because it matters. It's so true. 5K has always been a goal number, so I knew I needed to be here tonight. I got you, girl. To live a fulfilling life free of financial restraints, to work full time in my holistic candle brand and grow my Reiki offering. Love that. I'm a tarot reader and spiritual counselor. Love this. The business I'm working on starting soon is astrology, Akashic record readings, intuitive healing. You're in good company, Melissa. I want to play. Ooh, Lisa, I love that. That's all we're doing. I love that you said that, Lisa. I think we need to stop taking business so serious and realize that all we're doing is playing in the matrix. And when we realize that your business and your brand is one huge experiment and it's okay if you fall, you just get back up. We take off the pressure. And that's what you want to do. To create longevity in your business and your brand, you want to take off the pressure. And all we do is put pressure on ourselves because the system is designed that way. But that is not, we're not going to go there. I'm going to stay on task right now. Kayla, I had a bookkeeping business. Oh, love that. That I let go because I was focusing on starting my now ex-boyfriend's business. Now I'm feeling called to the healing realm. Okay, a healing realm. A few different things. I want to spend more time with my son. Okay, I love that. I started to learn tarot and I'm eager to learn about how to make it into business. I'm starting to get the hang of it. Yeah, it's a learning curve. My dream is to start a nonprofit organization for children of the system like myself. Love that because I lived so many years stuck in the stifling world of corporate and want to be more free and help other women find their voice as well. To create a space for eco witches and reach financial freedom doing something I love. I also have a pagan life guide. You guys are just fucking talented. This is the shit. This is why I love teaching online. And I love teaching live because all of us are able to connect from all these different areas, all these different spots. And like, look at all these people who are literally working on the same thing that you are. Age of Aquarius, baby, age of community. I'm obsessed. I'm working on my holistic wellness and personal development business, guiding women to the realization of their power and prowess to transform their lives. That is a mission statement. I want financial freedom to be able to help other women live the life they want. I want to do astrology and have an online metaphysical store and become a somatic Reiki healer and help people that can't afford that. My dream to be some sort of photographer, writer. I love that. Very, very right-brained. And have an influence on others in a healthy, tangible way. Yes. I literally went part-time on at my muggle job. Good fucking for you. That just made me so happy to hear, Susanna. Congratulations. And hired an assistant office manager.
She
I've created,
speaks Spanish.
I love it. That's amazing. Friend, Susanna is a Siren graduate, and you all get an invitation to Siren today. So, like, to see that is absolutely fucking amazing. Financial freedom. Friends, this is just so good. Helping people for no other reason to help other than that I'm good at it and I love doing it. And honestly, we're going to get into the lecture, but I'm also letting whatever intuitive hits come in because it is 11:11. I want you all to remember to follow your joy. What Homegirl just said, that last piece, it feels good. That's always going to be an indicator that you're moving in the right direction, that you're moving in a direction that feels good to your soul. Two things can be true at once. We can still be nervous about it and it can still feel really fucking good. We can still be a little afraid and it can still feel really fucking good. We can still have a little resistance to it and it can still feel really fucking good. We have to remember that the frequency of God, source, spirit, universe is always a love frequency. And the closest that we are to that love frequency, the closest that we are with God. And so we want to always be in those energies that make us feel really fucking good. This was one of the ways that I knew that it was time for me to even start my business. And one of the ways that I knew that I needed to go into business mentorship because it felt really fucking good. It felt easy. It felt flowy to sit with other mystics and talk to them about this sort of stuff. That's how I knew that I was in the place that I was supposed to be in. So if you take nothing from today, please take that you being in a space of joy and following your joy is always going to benefit anything and everything else. So I love that we all shared. So you all can know that you're in really, really, really good company. Because we're all starting somewhere, as we all just saw. We're all starting somewhere. So, all right, let's get into it. Okay, we'll get back into it. Okie dokie. For anybody who just joined, we are doing a giveaway. You can share a clip, you can share a photo, anything like that during today's session, and then tag me on the gram with something that you learned, and you'll be entered in to win a free 45-minute business strategy session with me, and the winner will be announced on Thursday. Step one. Why step into the spiritual space in a professional way? Why? You guys can see the lovely Susanna here, who is a Siren graduate. And so many things to say. You guys will see a few different Siren graduates that are here today that are still in my universe after being in my other spaces. And the reason why is because I know my why. Your why can change, number one, but your why is really about what the fuck you believe in. What world are you looking to create? What magic are you looking to deliver into this world, right? Why take the road less traveled? Any one of us could go get a full-time job at Mickey D's right now, plus benefits, and make decent money. So we are making the decision to step into the spiritual space, but not just like, oh, I'm working with a healer. Oh, I'm going to learn tarot and read for my friends in a professional way. Entrepreneurship is not easy. So why are you choosing it? Your why will indicate everything else. Your why is what you go back to. Your why is what you go back to when shit gets hard, when you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. When the imposter syndrome comes in and you think that you can't show up. Your why is what you come back to when you're like, I think I'm just going to do something else. Your why is what you need when you might have a low month and then you have a crazy month and then you have a low month. When you work your ass off on an offer and nobody fucking buys it, you go back to your why. It is incredibly paramount that you have a crystal clear understanding of why you're doing this soul work. And like I said, your why can change because you change. We are multidimensional. Your why today might be different tomorrow. Your why tomorrow might be different in 6 months. But when we are flying and creating without a why, period, we might as well be creating for air. So I would love it right now if we all just took a couple minutes just to write a few sentences on what our why is. I would absolutely love it. It can be a few sentences, it can be a few keywords, it can be a few anything. And some of the sirens in the room right now know that we just did this practice not too long ago. Um, it's paramount. So take a few minutes, write down your why. I'll probably keep chit-chatting a little bit. Um, it could be, like I said, a few sentences and allow yourself, after this call or whatnot, to continue working on it. And when you have your why turns into your mission statement, right? And then your why turns into your mission statement. I was given the power inside for it. Yeah, you definitely were. Definitely were. Exactly. Exactly. But let go even deeper. Oh, I love it. I love that you guys are sharing. That was going to be what I was going to say. I love that we're already doing it. Um, I'm betting on myself and my business because my kids are watching. Ooh, girl, love that. My younger self is healing and others are waiting for what I have to offer. Yeah. Yeah. I want you all to know that everybody's waiting for what you have to offer. everybody. There is somebody for everybody. And this is why your why is so important, because your why informs your messages. And we'll talk about it on the next slide. But we must start with the why and get really, really deep on why we're choosing this path, right? My why is to help others. I want to help others to be able to be the best versions of themselves. Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, to add on to that, and to add on probably to what a lot of you have written down, we understand how profound and impactful a spiritual lifestyle has been for us. And we want to spread that energy. I know I'm a better version of myself than I was fucking 15 years ago. God bless her. She got me here, and I want to be able to give that to others. Others deserve to feel happiness and fullness too. I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. The energy is pulling me here. That part. That part. A lot of you have probably heard me say, and I'm going to keep saying it, it's not going to go away. It's not. We all have like stories and things that have brought us to certain areas and certain spaces in our lives. Like I remember being young and being obsessed with the magic school bus, and then I ended up going to school for biology. Like we all have stuff like that. And again, I started reading tarot at 15, 17 years old. I wasn't thinking that I was going to be full-fledged in a business in my 30s. Saturn return hits, and here we are, decades later. So if you're called to this work, you're called to this work. Lena, it makes you happy. You flesh out why it makes you happy. I mean, subs make me happy. Popcorn makes me happy. Sex makes me happy. Why does this work make you happy? This is kind of where I want you all to go. And obviously over time, but I want you all to really get the gist of like, we're breaking it down. Do you know how many whys I've gone through over the course of being in business? Fuck. And just allowing it to meditate and to cook and like, why am I doing this? Why am I struggling with technology? Why am I investing in business mentors? Why am I creating these PowerPoints? Why am I paying a team? Why am I doing this? Why? Get really philosophical about it. And honestly, Scorpio season, we're coming to the end of it, which gets you all nice and deep and into your shadow. Then we come into Sagittarius season that loves to be deep and philosophical. And so this mesh, this is a very, with the 1111 portal too, this is a really beautiful time to do this sort of work that we're doing here today. I love all these. I love all these. Okay, all right. So, how are we doing on time? Okay, we're behind. But okay, so step one, your why. Figure out your why, whatever you wrote here today, make sure you have it on your notebook and make sure you take some time with it. And then also, I have a phrase that I love to say is let it cook. I'm sure some of you have seen that TikTok. The same with your why. Let it sit somewhere. Let it sit on like a table, let it sit in your office, let it sit by your altar. Give it a couple days and then come back to it. Really allow it to take shape. Your why informs who you're talking to. Who are you talking to? If you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. Your ICA or your ideal client avatar is just as important as everything else, right? And so there's a few things I'm going to tell you with this. In the work that I do with other folks, the biggest roadblock I see, right, is, but I want to make sure that everybody's included. Of course. If you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. Okay. So I'm sure you all see that, I'm calling when in my marketing, I'll say, I'm calling out women. I'm calling out women. I'm calling out women. I have worked with straight men. I've worked with gay men. I've worked with lesbians. I work with people in the spiritual community. I'm queer myself. Like everybody can sit with me. Everybody. And they find me. They find me. Just because I'm using the word women doesn't mean I'm only for women. The thing about it is in the spiritual community, one thing that we must understand, right, is that we are a business as well as providing spiritual leadership. And in the world of marketing, we must understand that it is our job to call out our soulmate clients. We call out our soulmate clients through our messaging. Okay. The reason why I use women is because 90% of my clientele is women. The numbers don't lie. 90%. And the folks that love my work and that resonate with me and that are binging all my free stuff know that I'm down with everybody. I'm a creature of love, honey. They know that. I don't need to explain that because the messaging already says that, if that makes sense. So, your ideal client avatar, the clearer you are on this, babe, the clearer your messaging will be. What do they do for work? Where do they hang out? Are they parents, neurodivergent, extroverts, artists? Are they married? Are they single? I say use an example as a sex coach, right? I've worked with sex coaches in my universe, literal coaches that help married couples or couples that are together figure out their sex life and get a little kinky in the sheets or whatnot. So if you're a sex coach, you're not going to be marketing to 20 something year old girls. You're not going to be probably marketing on TikTok because your audience is a more mature audience. Your audience is probably somebody who's married. Your audience is probably somebody who's a parent. Your audience is probably somebody who's on Instagram, much less TikTok. So when you're marketing, you're not going to be doing those TikTok dances. No, you're going to be on Instagram, probably doing what's called a talking heads video. What books do they read? What podcasts do they listen to? What music do they listen to? How old are they? How much do they make? Where are they on their spiritual journey? Where are they on their business journey? If you want to go into business leadership, if you're somebody that runs a spiritual boot camp, you're probably going to be looking for somebody who has had their first spiritual awakening. And yes, we have more than one. If you are somebody who, let's say you're an artist and you have a 6-week course of maybe learning how to draw tarot as an art form, or helping people design tarot decks. Well, you're not going to be targeting astrologers. You're going to be targeting tarot readers and artists. And so this is really important because this helps you figure out how to call in your soulmate clients, and it also helps your soulmate clients find you. Because oftentimes people don't even know you exist. And we will talk about that. We'll talk about those blocks. We'll talk about those blocks that come in. But oftentimes people don't know you exist, and then you're not showing up because you've got that, that visibility block that's coming on in, and it's a negative feedback loop. A huge hint for this is that our ICA is often a previous version of ourselves. It's often a previous version. So you are going to want to consider, you got it, oh, I got it. Versions of yourself, renditions, auditions, incarnations of who you were before you got right here in this room. Different versions of who you were. And how could those versions of who you were need what you have now? Something to highly consider. One thing I wanted to mention here that I wrote in my notes earlier is a lot of folks, when I talk about ideal client avatar, especially where you're at in business, it's like anybody who'll pay me. I don't want to go in, anybody who'll pay me. I want you all to know that that comes from lack mentality and scarcity mentality, okay? And remember, like attracts like. Like attracts like. So if you're in this space of like, well, I don't want to do that, like any, yo, you'll pay me, then come on in, let's do it. That's creating potential issues with client boundaries in the future. A whole lot of things. And I want you, that's a form of shadow work to really sit down and think about that. Like, am I at that phase? Have I thought about that? You know, and it's more than just like turning down somebody because they don't fit your ICA. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, I want you to consider who your ICA is. And are you speaking to them in your messaging? And that's if you're messaging. If you're not creating any sort of messaging, well, we got some for that too, you know? So step one is your why. Step two is your ICA. Step three, the meat and potatoes. Okay, friends, we're going to get you up a little bit here. You have your why that you're doing this work. You have the people that you're talking to. What the fuck are we offering? Right? And so the biggest way to scale is by diversifying your product suite. Some of you that have been in my universe for a long time have heard me say it. If you haven't implemented it yet, please do so. If you're new to this, let's talk about it. You want 1 to 3 main squeeze offers, okay, that you're focusing on. This is an example of what this could look like. A 1-to-1, which most of you are at right now. This is like a 1-to-1 tarot reading, a 1-to-1 Reiki session, a 1-to-1 rune reading, right? A 1-to-1 mediumship reading. It's 1-to-1. A lot of spiritual folks are in that, right? Then the next offer would be a 1-to-many. So maybe it's a 6-week course, maybe it's a 6-month course, maybe it's a 3-week course, maybe it's a 4-week course. But it's a 1-to-many. Maybe it's a one-off. This right now, what I'm doing is a 1-to-many. Okay, if you haven't heard these terms before. Me to a bunch of people, all right? Like I said here, most of us start off in the 1-to-1 block and stay there. Diversifying your product suite is key. It truly is. To creating consistency around your money, you're not going to be able to see 5K months unless you're charging over $1,000 for a 1-to-1 and you're taking 5 people per month. Our work, whether we create products, because I know we got a few product makers in the house, whether we create products or whether we are service based, our work is incredibly spiritually based. This is what differs us as entrepreneurs from somebody who's starting a plumbing business, from somebody who's starting a roofing business. Okay. And a lot of what we do is based on how the fuck we feel that day. Facts. Facts. I know for a fact I'm not going into a Reiki session if my house caught on fire, knock on wood. Or, you know, if I'm crazy cramping and I'm on day 2 of my period. Or if my partner and I got into this crazy argument, or if my mom called me with bad news. Why am I not doing that? Because that person is not going to get the best session that they could receive from me because my energy's off. And so, with that being said, the 1-to-1 can be incredibly hard for spiritual folks to scale. Think about it. Even if you charged, I don't know, quick math, like $500 for 1-to-1 session, right? And I don't have my computer with me, math, but let's say you 5 people, that's $2,500. So 10 people would be that 5K, but that's at $500 a session. And let's be real, if you're looking to hit 5K months, you don't feel comfortable charging that much right now. So it's still not going to happen because there's going to be an energetic like separation between you and charging that much for your offers. And 10 people a month is still kind of a lot of people. That's more than 2 a week. It's still a lot, which is why diversifying your product suite is truly going to be your best friend. So, the 1-to-many, okay, the 1-to-1 that I have here, it's your most energy with the least amount of revenue. The one to many is the biggest cash injection. It's more on the front end, and it also is going to give out the biggest impact. So many of you said in your why that you want to help other people, that you want to help people move through X, Y, and Z. This, babe, is how you're going to get the biggest impact. Look at how many lives are being touched right now, and then on the replay that are going to go take everything they learned and do some big shit. It's the most impact versus me individually talking to every single one of you. Over 80 of you signed up for tonight. You know how long that would take? And then you have an evergreen. An evergreen is an offer that is always open. Now, before I get into evergreen, a few things here. This is one model. Your business is malleable. Your business is ever evolving. You are ever evolving. So you can mix things up. You can do a one to many that is evergreen. You can do a membership that is evergreen. As you grow as an entrepreneur, you can shift these to what feels good, but this is a basic model to get you started. And so an evergreen is something that is already done. For example, we're not going to be doing this with this one, but this is something you could do with this 1111 portal that I'm teaching right now. We could, when I'm done with this, we could patch it up, like make it all nice and pretty and package it up nice and then sell it. It's already done. It's evergreen. We've got other plans for this because in business, don't reinvent the wheel. That this is a whole nother seminar, but something that's coming in intuitively. So maybe some of you in this room right now are doing this or watching the replay, but you don't have to make separate content for Instagram and for the tiki talk. You create what you're creating for IG, you save that to your phone, and then you put that on TikTok. If you're a podcaster, you do your podcast and then you can put that on YouTube. You create an email, you can take some of the verbiage from your email and use that as the copy for your Instagram post. It is okay to recycle your content. Please. You already have enough work on your plate. One of the main reasons why it's okay to recycle your content is because so many people haven't seen it. The running stat right now is about 2% of your Instagram following sees your shit. It's a running stat. And then when it comes to email marketing, look, the average open rate is 1%. That's the market standard. 1% of the folks on your email list are actually opening it and clicking what you have to say. So a lot of people aren't even seeing it. And we'll get deeper into that when we get into the launch portion of this. But we must get over any fears, any resistance around being seen when you're stepping into spiritual leadership. Does it get easier? Yeah. And then it gets harder when you grow. You're like, good, you're coasting, then you get to 5K followers and you're like, fuck. Then you get over it and you're like, okay, we're coasting. Then you get 10K, you're like, oh God. And then you get over and you're gonna get to 15K, same thing. Somebody that you've looked up to asks you to be on their podcast. Oh shit. It's learning and it's allowing yourself to lean into it. That's really what it is. So I'm tangenting, but this is something that just felt like needed to come out. Okay. So one-to-one, one-to-many, evergreen. Should you work on them all at the same time? That's entirely up to you. I do think that having at least an idea, again, remember, why are you doing this and who are you talking to? Why are you doing it? Who are you talking to? So what sorts of things are you wanting to bring into the world to help your ICA transform? Because every single one of you are providing a transformation. What is yours? Launch it. My favorite thing to do. I absolutely love launching. Not everybody does. I do. And I'll tell you why. When you are launching something that came from your motherfucking heart, that came from your gut, that came from your crown, and that it's now being birthed into reality, you are actively seeing manifestation take place. And it is cool as shit. It's cool as shit. It's one of the best experiences you could have as a business owner. Your idea, your seed is literally birthed into the 3D in real time. God, I love it. And this is the vibe that you want to have about any and everything you create. I can't wait to give this to you. I can't wait for you to experience this. What I have created for you is going to change your fucking life. You say that shit with your whole chest because you deserve to take up space. So let's talk launching. Inside of Siren, we go over launching pretty heavy. Plus, you would get access to the 8 light codes of launching. But in this class, I'm gonna give you the nuts and bolts. Okay. You have your why, you have who you're talking to, you have the offer offers. Now we launch it. Marketing is not sales. Marketing is not sales. All sales is counting numbers. Marketing, that's the juice. That is when you are calling out your ICA. That is when you are telling everybody and their mom why you're helping. That is when you do your big one. You don't give a fuck who's tired of it because you deserve to take up space here. Launch it. So, in business, this is kind of how it goes. We are always in a nurture sequence if we're not launching. Okay. We're always providing value to our audience if we are not in their faces with an offer for them to buy. We provide value for free because it's part of our job. This is me providing value, this seminar. Your Instagram posts, your TikToks, your emails, your podcasts, your YouTubes, these are all you providing value. And so I want you all to consider on your platforms, whether you are an in-person service provider who wants to go online and in person, whether you're online and you want to do both, it doesn't really matter because it's all the same stuff. And even if you predominantly work in person, the online space is still incredibly important for you to sell as well. It's Age of Aquarius. Your neighbor would be like, oh, I didn't know you did that. And because they saw you on Instagram. So it's all incredibly important, okay? Um, the nurture sequence is you providing value. So like the 33 things I learned in business, the podcast episode that dropped the other day, having other guests in the spiritual community that have a fully fledged businesses and are fully in their magic. That's all value. Today's Instagram post, if any of you saw it, when I was talking about the fears that are holding you back, that's value. Value is something that that person that is looking at your stuff that they can implement whatever the fuck you're saying right now. So value isn't necessarily like a picture of your cat. I know a lot of you guys know me from the show 90 Day. And if you follow me on the gram, you notice I don't have a lot of pictures of my husband. That's by design. I'm working. I'm working. He's on there sometimes, but that's my job. You know what I mean? Now, let's say I was a sex coach. Let's bring the sex coach back a little bit. Then he would have a place there. So, babes, it's important for you all to start putting on your CEO hat if you haven't already. You are a content creator. That is a part of your job. You work online. That's a part of your job as well. And a part of your job is to help your soulmate clients find you. And you help them find you through these nurture sequences. Okay. Now, let's say we're in a launch, right? You have your offer or offers. You want to focus on one, by the way. Even if you have all three mapped out, you only want to focus on one at a time. So keep that in mind. You got your offer. Let's say you're a brand new tarot reader. You've been reading for a while. You decided to go professional. Okay. Let's say your name is Simone. Okay. So let's just like think about this. So Simone is like, I want to go professional. I've been reading for my friends for so long. I really want to make an impact in the world. Tarot has absolutely changed my life. I want to reduce the stigma around tarot cards. And I want to do that by helping people who are not as experienced with tarot experience the magic of tarot. So we figured that out. So where are those people hanging out? You know, those people are probably looking at personal development podcasts, probably more like a Mel Robbins versus an Oracle of LA, if you all know her, because again, her ICA, if you listen to what I said, is somebody who potentially has some stigma around tarot. They're not sure, but they're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the woo. So we could probably assume that person is more so into personal development and less so into like full on witchy development. Oracle of LA is amazing. If you guys don't know her, Amanda Yates Garcia, chef's kiss. I've had her on the pod. Fantastic woman. Um, so that's why. But anyways, now let's take Simone's offer. Simone's offer is hour-long tarot sessions, $77 an hour. Okay. She's been nurturing her audience, and this is how she would nurture her audience. She would talk about the tarot. She would have photos of the tarot. Did you know that the tarot is divided into two sections, the minor and the major arcana? This is what the major is. This is what the minor is. Did you know that there's 4 suits in the tarot? One of the biggest misconceptions about the royal cards are, I love doing my tarot first thing in the morning. I flip a card. Good morning, friends. Here's your daily card pull. All of this is content. She's blasting her audience with all this nurture content around the tarot. Then she does this for a while, and then she decides, okay, I'm feeling energetically ready and strategically ready to launch my offer. Okay. She goes into a T sequence. I got something coming. I made something for you. I'm really excited about this. My name is Simone, and I do X, Y, and Z. And if you're into this, follow for more. I have something coming. Oh my God, I just got this new tarot deck. Look at how amazing it is. I've got something coming. Just teasing, 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 teasing. Then boom, she hits you with the right hook. I got 10 spots open for a tarot reading right now for the month of November. 10 spots, month of November. And in her sell sequence, bitch goes all in. This is where a lot of newbies fail right here. They feel like they're bothering people, like they're doing too much, like they're being too loud. All of this comes from conditioning that every single one of us have within our DNA. And some of us have more of this than others. But it's all conditioning. It's all conditioning. It's like people's opinion of you is not your problem. Coca-Cola doesn't care if you get tired of their commercials. That fucking Geico gecko gives no fucks. I actually have Geico because of that goddamn gecko. Take up space. Not only should you take up space, but you must take up space. Remember your why. Remember your why. So when it comes to this piece of talking big, loud, and bold about what you have to offer for a couple weeks, depending on the price point, the higher the price point, the longer you speak about it, traditionally. You're going to feel like you're bothering people. You're going to feel like, holy shit, am I pissing people off? Oh my God, somebody unsubscribed. Fuck that. That doesn't matter. Let them go. People are gonna unsubscribe. People are gonna unfollow. Good. Because that makes space for the people that want what you have. And that's what we're here to do. We're only here for our soulmate clients. We're not here for fucking Bob who lives in his mom's basement. Why are you following me, Bob? I'm good. This is by far the piece that trips people up. And this is by far the biggest piece of your business and how you're going to scale. If nobody knows what you're offering, how are you going to make money? Talking about it for 1 or 2 days is not enough. It's not. It takes the average person 7 times of seeing something before it even registers that they saw it. That's not even making a decision on it. That's just it registering in this brain that we saw it. Why do you think when you're watching the boob tube, you see the same fucking commercials? It's all marketing, babes. It's all marketing. The difference between the Geico Gecko and the way that we do it is that we're coming from a spiritual, a third eye, and eye of perception lens. It's the only difference. But we're still marketing. We're still selling. We're still business owners. We're still CEOs. That doesn't change. So you sell for a little while, a couple days, couple weeks. Again, that's going to depend on your offer. The reflection sequence. This is incredibly important for everybody and anybody, okay? And it's important to make time for this, no matter how advanced or non-advanced you are in business. A lot of people get down on themselves if certain things flop or if they don't work the way you want, or if you were calling in 20 people and you only called in two or you only got two. They're like, yeah, they Eeyore it. No, babe, it's all data. And when you start looking at it as data, you start letting go of the emotional attachment that you have to the outcome. Because that's all it is. It's ego being attached to the outcome. That's really it. The outcome doesn't necessarily matter. If you were calling in 20 and you only got two, praise Jah for these two people that are ready to step inside into transformation. And then whoever is ready the next day, fantastic. Or the next month or the next year, great. I'm not going anywhere because my business is forever. So it's all data. What did you learn? How can you improve next time? Any parts of the journey be used as content, which is incredibly important too. Any parts of your first launch or your second launch or your 18th launch, can any of it be used as content? I'm using this as content. Everything is content because you're a content creator. You can never have too much. I always say that no launch is a failed launch because if anything, you got more followers on one of the pages, you got more people on the email list. Your public speaking got better. If you did a lot of speaking, you got more confident in your offers. There's always space to find the growth. Always. But, and we'll be talking about this, a lot of us love to compare. And you look at like Betty Sue over here who's like, I just had a six-figure launch. Yes, honey. And you're like, fuck, I suck. No, baby. Comparison is a thief of joy. It's a thief of joy. Don't do it. Step 5, rinse and repeat that shit. Literally. So when you are done with that launch and you're in the reflection phase, guess what? You go right back to nurture. You go right back to nurturing and you do that until you're ready to launch the next thing. Until you're ready to launch the next thing, whatever that thing is. It could be that other offer. It could be the same offer. It could be something that's totally different. It could be a campaign to get your email list up, which that would also be a launch. You would launch your freebie or your lead magnet, and that you can do a whole campaign on that, and it's just focusing on your email list. That's it. It's not rocket science. We just like to overcomplicate things. So, some of your responsibilities that's going to create longevity in your business, okay? As you guys do this, I think it's really important for you guys to know some of this stuff. First of all, brand awareness. This measures how well your target audience recognizes your brand, right? And so we create brand awareness through our logos, through our color palettes, through all of that, through the content that we talk about, through our content pillars. Okay, and so that is very, very important. If you don't have specific colors that you use for your business or your brand, I would start through the fonts that you use. We use the same fonts throughout everything that we do. You guys might not even know it, but you subconsciously would probably know that font if you just saw it somewhere, especially if you've been in my universe for a long time. Very, very important. Your brand voice, how your brand speaks to others, right? People don't come to me for, oh, honey, let's love and light it away. No, they come to me for change. We're making change here. We're lighting a fire under your ass and we're fucking trans fucking forming. That's what we're doing. And this is also too why I curse in my content, because I curse in general. So if somebody's like, oh my God, they probably aren't going to want to work with me in a private container. And that's okay. That is okay. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Because I don't want to have to censor myself. And this is why authenticity is so fundamentally important, because you want your soulmate clients to just know you and know who you are. That is very, very important. Brand recognition, how well your consumer can identify your product or service, right? So I have a good amount of brand recognition just through Siren. Most of you, if not all of you, have at least heard of Siren. It's by design. That's why I say 1 to 3 offers, 1 to 3 offers that you're going all in on, right? And that way people can begin to recognize what you offer, who you offer it to, and where they fit inside of your product suite, which is essentially what I was talking about on step 4. I was talking about your product suite. Establishing yourself as an authority. We just talked about this inside of Siren a couple days ago. People get tripped up on this. So I'm going to tell you something, right? One of the girls inside of Siren right now, we were talking about identifying yourself as an authority, and she was saying like she's still studying her craft, which is health and wellness. And she's like, I don't consider myself an authority yet because I'm still studying. And I was like, well, do you know what macros are? And she was like, well, of course I do. And I'm like, well, then you could speak on it. You can speak on it. So I want you guys to understand something here, right? Astrologers often get caught up in this too. This idea that like I have to know everything before I can talk about one thing. Not true. We are forever students, especially in the spiritual community. Babes, this shit has been around quite some time. Like all the different lanes that you could go down when it comes to spiritual development, and all the like the holes you can find yourself in. I didn't know I was going to get certified in the Akashic records until one of my fucking guides told me in the heart of a past life regression. I was like, okay, okay. You don't know where you're going until you go there. And so the point being is, establishing yourself as an authority doesn't mean that you know all the fucking things, but you know a little something about a little something. You know more than what your ICA knows. And that's what's important. I'm not sitting here telling you guys I can scale you to $1 million. Not fucking saying that. But I can scale you to 5K months. I could easily do that. Easily, eyes closed. And so you take what you know and you make something of it. And you don't say things that you can't do. And that I think is a really big issue happening in the coaching community. But that's neither here nor there. Providing value, when I talk about providing value, that nurture sequence, what can you give somebody that can help someone today? I often think about that when I'm creating content. Like if I've got like writer's block or something, what can I talk about that is going to help somebody today? You know? And then again, what transformation do you provide? This is something I often go back to and I often lecture on. You are providing a transformation. And this is where pricing can get, the conversation around pricing can get really like, right? Because I say pricing is personal. And I know that spiritual folks, we go through a lot around pricing. I like to say that spiritual folks have the starving artist mentality. This idea of like, well, if I have this gift, shouldn't I just give it for free? No. How are you going to like give somebody a transformation and you're worried about your lights being cut off? I know I wouldn't be able to sit here right now and drop the tea that I'm dropping if I was worried about dinner for tonight. So, that's a different lecture. Pricing is personal. but just some food for thought if that kind of spoke for you. Yeah, how are they going to leave your world all changed and shit? That as in as simple terms as I can give it to you. When somebody steps into your world, how are they going to leave all changed and shit? Things that will come up as you build. I'm sure a lot of you have already experienced this. Imposter syndrome. You're just as much qualified to sit with us as anybody else. Please know that, babes. You're in the room today. You can sit with us. All right. Witch wound. You are here because you are called to do the soul work. And that feeling won't go away. And in a nutshell, without like being long-winded, the witch wound will come up. And it's this idea of like still being in the broom closet, what will cousin Sue think about this new business endeavor? Oh my God, like, is this okay? Like, a lot of things that come up inside of Siren is this idea of creating content, but not wanting certain people inside of your family or friend group to see said content. I went through it. You're not alone. Lots of people go through it. I'll tell you right now, one thing that really helped me was creating a separate space for this work. And I did that for like over a year. And then like I started like allowing that Instagram page, the one that you guys follow now, I allowed that page to go to my Facebook as well. And what do you know? Old friends started DMing me for readings. And I'm like, oh my God, because they saw me on Facebook. And think about it. Why wouldn't they want to go to somebody that they've known for years versus a stranger? I didn't even realize that I was blocking my own blessing out of fear of being seen. Something to consider. Self-sabotage. You're a content creator, babe. The biggest thing that you're going to deal with, one of the biggest things as an entrepreneur, especially in the online space, is finding the time to do the work. Your calendar is going to be your best friend, and you're going to rework it and rework it and rework it. Um, but you're your own boss. And for a lot of folks that don't have a history of entrepreneurship or like don't have family in it, it can be really hard because we are used to being told, come to work at this time, leave at this time, take lunch at this time. When you are working for yourself, it's like, well, I don't really feel like doing that right now. Okay. No, 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 no. You have to literally treat this like it's a job. Like, because it is. It is. And it might not feel like a job at first, but when you give yourself hours, I don't suggest full 8-hour days at all, no matter how advanced you are in it. You are coming into this work to get your time back. So why would you put yourself on a 40-hour work week? Just don't think that's a great idea, but I digress. Fear of being seen, fear of failure. This again, a lot of you guys know me from the show. I won international television and did my big one. And it was like, I'm a witch, I'm a mystic, say something. So, I mean, you're going to move through that and it's going to be a thing. I wish I could tell you otherwise. I think that we have a bigger advantage now in 2024, about to be 2025, than we did in the early 2000s, where personal development is at its height. People really want to understand themselves, and people really want to understand themselves through the lens of spirituality, and that's where we come in. We didn't have this in 2000. I remember hiding my tarot decks. I remember hiding my altar spaces. I don't gotta do that now, and you don't either. We all figure out this on our own depending on like our religious trauma and our family stuff and limiting beliefs that might be deep down inside. Everybody kind of moves through this one differently. But you will, is what I can tell you. You will. Fear of failure. And that's, everybody's gonna watch me fail if I fail. If you fail, you get back up. It's entrepreneurship. Anybody will tell you, no matter what business they're running, entrepreneurship is a bunch of this until you really start like, okay, that's why I said at the top of this, it's one big experiment. It's one big experiment. No matter what you do or how you do it, this is spiritual, mental, emotional growth. This is one of the deepest forms of shadow work you can do. Having a baby, getting married, and building a business. That's you know, um, it's shadow work. And You're going to be faced with a lot of what ifs and a lot of, but I didn't, and a lot of fuck, I'm failing, and a lot of, oh my God, but they are, and a lot of like ego deaths and ego rebirths. And, you get comfortable with the uncomfortable. It's all going to be worth it and so fucking satisfying. And so fucking satisfying. Your soul work and really being in it and building something that from the ground up is going to be so fucking satisfying. You must keep going. Just a few things to remember along the way. I've said, your business is malleable. People buy from who they like, know, and trust. And that's very important to remember as you're creating your content, as you're creating your offers, as you're thinking about what to talk about. Is it a post where they just get to know you? Is it a post where you share something you like? Is it a post where you talk about your work? Those are also three ways that you can kind of figure out your content. It's your job to create that like, know, and trust factor. You don't have to bear it all on social media. You don't have to do that. But sharing who you are a bit or a lot of it, depending on who you are. I share most of it. I don't really give a fuck, but that's just me. Not everybody's like that. You know, um, you can decide what feels good to share and what doesn't feel good to share. But stepping into spiritual leadership and spiritual stewardship, talking about yourself and talking about why you do this work is going to be a part of it. And again, one of the biggest differences between spiritual work and muggle work is we understand the delicate balance between energetics and strategy. And in the spiritual community, we do work with both. Our energy is just as sacred as that of our clients. Our meditations are just as important as that of our clients. Our crystal work and crystal grading is just as important as that of our clients. Our shadow work is just as important as that of our clients. And so is our study. Hello, friends. I hope you loved today's episode. Make sure you share it with a friend, share it with somebody that you love, and tag me on the gram at Ashley Michelle 90 Day and let me know your thoughts. Leaving that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify is literally what helps this work get to the right people. As you may or may not know, we are in the middle of a spiritual revolution, and us being able to get our hands on resources like this podcast and others is what is literally going to make the world go round. So do me this favor and please leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and share the episode with somebody you love. It really, truly does mean the world to me. I love you so very much, and I will see you in the next one.